Europe, early 19th century, a continent poised on the brink of transformation. The echoes of revolution still reverberated, and the old order teetered, struggling to maintain its grip. A continent shattered by decades of war, its landscape scarred, and its people weary. The driving force behind much of this turmoil was Napoleon's ambition. His relentless campaigns had redrawn maps and toppled dynasties. After his defeat, the long and bloody Napoleonic era finally came to an end. Leaders faced a daunting challenge, the monumental task of piecing together the fragments of a broken continent. It wasn't just about securing peace, a mere cessation of hostilities. It was about rebuilding Europe itself, brick by brick, institution by institution. The Congress of Vienna, 1814, became the epicenter of this effort. It brought together emperors, the heads of powerful empires, kings, representing ancient and influential monarchies, and diplomats, seasoned negotiators from across the continent. They convened for 9 months of intense negotiation, a marathon of diplomacy, and spectacle, a dazzling display of power and prestige. Their mission, a daunting one, fraught with challenges and competing interests, to create a new order, a stable and lasting framework for peace. An order that would prevent another catastrophe and another descent into widespread conflict. They aimed for a system, a carefully constructed architecture of power, where no single country could dominate, where ambition was checked by cooperation. Pioneering the idea of balance, a delicate equilibrium between competing forces. And collective security, a shared commitment to maintaining peace and stability. The Congress of Vienna was the first real attempt, a groundbreaking experiment, at international cooperation, nations setting aside their differences for the common good, a concert of nations, working in harmony, or at least striving to, shaping the world we know today, laying the foundations for the modern international order. Its legacy, profound and far-reaching, shaping the course of history for generations to come. Diplomacy, the art of negotiation and compromise, elevated to a new level of importance. Balance of power, a guiding principle in international relations ever since. And the blueprint for modern peacemaking, a testament to the power of dialogue and cooperation. To truly understand Vienna's pivotal role in shaping modern Europe, we must first understand Napoleon Bonaparte. He was a force of nature who redrew the map of Europe with sweeping strokes, spreading both the fervor of revolution and the ensuing chaos in his wake. His ambition knew no bounds. His relentless wars devastated economies across the continent, leaving a trail of destruction and financial ruin. He toppled long-standing monarchies, dismantling centuries-old power structures and leaving a void in their place. And he left Europe anxious and deeply unstable, a continent reeling from decades of conflict and uncertainty. The people yearned for peace. After his ultimate exile, the victorious powers, Britain, Austria, representing the old guard, Prussia, and Russia, the emerging forces, knew they simply couldn't return to the old ways, thus to the rigid structures that had proven so vulnerable to Napoleon's ambition. Change was inevitable. Vienna, strategically centrally located at the heart of Europe and perceived as politically stable, became the natural stage for forging a new European order, a new balance of power. The overarching goal was to create a comprehensive treaty, one that would meticulously redraw borders, addressing the territorial changes wrought by Napoleon's conquests, to restore legitimate monarchs to their thrones, and, crucially, to prevent the rise of future Napoleons, future dictators who could threaten the peace. The city buzzed with a palpable energy, a mixture of grand celebration and underlying anxiety. As European leaders remained deeply worried, haunted by the specter of revolution and the dangers of unchecked power, they knew they had to act decisively. Their shared fear, born from years of conflict, ultimately drove them to seek common ground, to find a path towards lasting stability. Vienna's Congress, therefore, was about far more than simply negotiating peace treaties. It was about proactively building a resilient Europe, a continent capable of withstanding future shocks and maintaining long-term stability. The stakes were incredibly high. Nothing less than the destiny of the entire European continent hung in the balance. The Congress of Vienna was a grand assembly, a meeting of Europe's most influential figures. But beneath the veneer of celebration and diplomacy, the Congress was dominated by the great powers. the victors of the Napoleonic Wars, each vying for influence and control over the reshaping of the continent. Each nation arrived with its own distinct agenda, its own set of priorities and ambitions that often clashed with those of its counterparts. Austria's Metternich, the host of the Congress, and a staunch conservative, sought to restore stability and the old order, the traditional monarchies and social hierarchies that had been upended by the French Revolution. He saw nationalism as a dangerous force, fearing its potential to destabilize the multi-ethnic Austrian Empire. Russia's Tsar Alexander, a complex and enigmatic figure, dreamed of a holy alliance, a union of European powers based on Christian principles. But beneath the Tsar's idealism lay a desire for territorial expansion and influence, especially in Poland, a region coveted by both Russia and Prussia. Prussia, eager for strength and recognition, aimed to annex the wealthy kingdom of Saxony and further consolidate its power within the German Confederation. Britain, led by the pragmatic and astute Castlereagh, wanted to establish a stable balance of power on the continent to ensure that no single power could dominate Europe and threaten its vital trade routes and sea power. Even defeated France, though humbled through the cunning diplomacy of Talleyrand, skillfully maneuvered to regain its status as a major player and exploit the divisions among the victors. These competing rivalries and ambitions, often hidden beneath layers of polite conversation and formal ceremony, profoundly shaped every negotiation and decision made at the Congress. The central challenge was balancing the power of these great nations, satisfying their desires, without igniting new conflicts that could plunge Europe back into war. في قلب مؤتمر فيينا كان الأمير مترنيخ مهندس النظام الجديد. رأى في الثورة والفوضى تهديداً وجودياً، فدافع عن الملكيات القوية والنظام المحافظ. هدفه قمع الليبرالية والقومية وإعادة الشرعية للأسر الحاكمة. استخدم حفلات فيينا الفخمة كأداة دبلوماسية، وببراعة جمع التحالفات ووازن المصالح. عندما هددت روسيا وبروسيا بتقسيم بولندا وساكسونيا، نسق تحالفاً مع بريطانيا وفرنسا لمنع الحرب. امتد تأثيره لعقود، ففرض نظام المؤتمرات الدورية، وأسس لعصر من التعاون الدولي. رغم أن نظامه لم يوقف موجة القومية، إلا أنه حقق استقراراً أوروبياً غير مسبوق. أعاد مؤتمر فيينا رسم خريطة أوروبا بمبدأ توازن القوى. الهدف توزيع القوة بحيث لا تهيمن دولة واحدة كما فعلت فرنسا. أنشأوا دولاً عازلة حول فرنسا، ووزعوا الأراضي بين القوى الكبرى بحذر. روسيا حصلت على جزء من بولندا، بروسيا على أراضٍ ألمانية، النمسا على شمال إيطاليا، وبريطانيا على جزر استراتيجية. لكن رغبات الشعوب أهملت. الإيطاليون تحت الحكم النمساوي، البولنديون تحت الروسي، والبلجيكيون مع الهولنديين. قمعت القومية والليبرالية لصالح الاستقرار. رسمت الحدود لأسباب استراتيجية، لا ثقافية أو لغوية. هذا الاستياء انفجر لاحقاً في ثورات وصراعات كبرى. إرث فيينا الأهم كان نظام حفلة أوروبا، اتفاق غير رسمي بين القوى الكبرى للحفاظ على السلام. اتزموا بحل النزاعات عبر الدبلوماسية والمؤتمرات، لا الحرب عندما اندلعت أزمات. اجتمعوا وناقشوا بدلا من القتال. هذا النظام أرسى قرناً من الاستقرار، سمحب الثورة الصناعية والنمو الاقتصادي. لكن هدف كان للحفاظ على النظام المحافظ طمع الحركات القومية والليبرالية. عندما ثار اليونانيون أو البولنديون، عملت الحفلة لحماية الإمبراطوريات مقاومة التغيير. كانت نقطة ضعف قاتلة في النهاية. انفجرت التوترات المكبوتة في الحرب العالمية الأولى. من السهل انتقاد مؤتمر فيينا اليوم بالنظر إلى الماضي. لقد تجاهل الشعوب وتطلعاتها وقمع الحرية، لكنه كان تجربة جريئة ومحاولة طموحة لصنع السلام بعد دمار شامل وحروب طاحنة. الدرس الأول: قوة الدبلوماسية والتعاون الدولي الوثيق، حيث اختار القادة التفاوض لا الحرب والنزاعات. وضعوا مبدأ الأمن الجماعي، أساس المنظمات الدولية الحديثة. الدرس الثاني: أهمية توازن القوى لمنع الهيمنة والتوسع، لكن التحدي الدائم تحقيق التوازن دون سحق تطلعات الشعوب. قرارات فيينا جلبت قرناً من السلام والاستقرار النسبي، لكنها زرعت أيضاً بذور صراعات لاحقة. فهم فيينا هو فهم تعقيد الأمور، بناء عالم أكثر سلاماً.